the next day, the youngest sister and myself went to Nara, and we went and saw Yamatoji Temple, I think it was called. This temple was massive. I don't know how they built these temples. They were so big. Osaka Castle was taller because it was tiered in kind of like a pyramid style-esque structure, but these temples are just massive. They just boggled my mind. These huge pieces of wood, and but then inside was just massive Buddha, and then next to the Buddha there were two other gods that I'm not entirely sure what they were. But then they also had other smaller statues, or smaller. These things weren't small, but they were smaller than the Buddha temple. The Buddha idol thing, but other gods like the lightning god and the wind god and other things. So we took this little tour around the Yamatoji temple, and they were having a festival, and they were setting up a bunch of stuff. So I didn't get like good clean pictures of just the temple. But then after that, the youngest sister and I went a little further out and saw Todaiji Temple, or Todaiji Palace, where, when we were going to Yamatoji Temple, we saw the Empress of Japan. It was just like perfect timing. We got off the subway, there were all these people around, and we were confused, like, well, what are all these people here for? And somebody asked, the sister asked one of the cops, I think it was, what's going on? And the cop said, yeah, the Empress is going to come right by here. So all these people were lining up for pictures. So I got a video of that, and that's right here. So then after we saw the Empress, and then after we went to the Yamatoji Temple, we went to the old, I think maybe Meiji, probably earlier than Meiji, palace, and it was just incredible, big again, but not so much the palace. The palace itself just housed where the emperor sat. It was this courtyard that was immeasurable. It was like 10 football fields, and then there was another gate that went into that, and then the old original one had another courtyard and then another gate outside of that. So we walked around, and there was just people everywhere because it was the 1300-year anniversary of the temple, of the palace, and so there were just people everywhere. They had this big festival. They had people dressed in the old clothing and doing dancing and all kinds of tea ceremonies and stuff. So after we saw the inside of the temple, which I got a bunch of pictures of that too, we went and saw the Emperor's Garden, which was pretty cool. It was like a recreation after an excavation of where the garden used to be. So we went and saw all that stuff, and then after that, we went to the Okazaki Aquarium Kaiyukan, and I love aquariums. I'm a big fan of sharks. I love sharks and fish and dolphins, and anything in the ocean just fascinates me. So we went and saw the aquarium in Osaka, and it was really cool. There was a lot of stuff that I'd never seen before, and I've been to the aquarium in Monterey and several other different places. But what I'd never seen before, which I was just in awe at, were whale sharks. These guys. it was so, there was two of them, and they would swim around this gigantic tank, and the whole building was kind of constructed around this aquarium. Like the aquarium was in the center of the and then you kind of walked around and down. So you got to see like different levels of the aquarium. So you could see the fish on the bottom and the fish on the top because it was just massive. But then on the outside too, there were dolphins and just all kinds of cool fish. But then also there were manta rays. I think that's what these were. And they're just massive. You can't really get a idea of how big they were. They were 12, 15 feet wingspan. I just think it's so majestic. So we saw all this fish and the aquarium. And I think by this time we went and ate and we're exhausted. My feet were killing me, and just my brain was fried from listening to Japanese and trying to speak Japanese. And oh, back up, the rickshaw ride.
男の子だけじゃなくて女性の方、女の子もやってるんですよ。
そうなんですか。
So that was the rickshaw ride carrier guy. He was great to talk to. I actually understood a large portion of what he said. He spoke a lot. He spoke slower-ish, and it was just the way, I think the way he spoke was easy for me to understand, which was really nice. But we didn't do a really long rickshaw ride. It was just so much fun to do it. Got some pictures of that, and so that, yeah, I think that was it. Just an awesome weekend. Too much stuff to remember. So when we were in Osaka, just after we checked into our hotel and we were going out to go eat dinner, and we're walking around these streets, and they're just so different from what I'm used to or ever having seen. Like even in movies, like where you see old, Eastern like streets with the paper lanterns and stuff. It just doesn't do it justice. You're walking down these streets, and everyone has, they're doing karaoke. So some old guy, is drinking and singing karaoke, and you don't understand a word they're saying, and they could be on key or off key or something, and I don't even know because I sing horribly. But I'm going to karaoke tomorrow night, so that'll be interesting. But just walking down these streets is so unique. Seeing just stuff you don't see, like dried squid and fish sitting out on these stands to like show what the restaurant offers. And then the restaurants, they're maybe 10 feet across, but then they're a lot deeper, and then they're usually like multi-storied. So you go up these little winding stairs and go sit, or you kind of sit on the little porch, and they bring you food. And usually every meal I've had so far isn't like a big set meal where they bring you this, a big plate with a bunch of stuff on it. It usually comes in like, you get a little batch of tempura, and then you get a little batch of noodles, and a little batch of, I don't know half the time what I'm eating. The homestay family that I'm with, usually they're like, "Oh, here, try this," and I've just had to give up and not. Most of the time, I don't want to know what it is before I eat it, and when I when I taste it and I put it in my mouth and I chew, and I'm like, okay, I can get this down. Then I'll ask what it is, and to me that's the safest way of going, okay, well, I know that I can palate it, so what is it? And it's never been anything really bizarre or weird. I think the weirdest thing I've had is maybe octopus, or yeah, I guess the octopus would be the strangest, where you can you bite into the takoyaki, and it's the octopus leg, and you can actually feel the suckers. They don't. It's not alive, so it's not like sucking on your tongue or anything, which would be really weird. But Wow, so much stuff. I hope I said everything. I'm probably repeating half of what I say in these videos. I apologize if I've repeated a lot of things. There's just so many times where I'm just excited and I don't have the time to go back and watch my other videos and see if I've said it or not. But today, Monday, first day of school, had my private lesson, which I think the teacher doesn't care for me too much for some reason. I've been studying my ass off. I've learned over 200 words, and like well enough to hear them, but not well enough to repeat them immediately. And the teacher was like, "You need to study, study, study." And I'm studying every chance I get. These videos are the few times that I actually stop to do something other than study. So I'm always looking over grammar, and I did get a question from somebody asking me to do a Japanese lesson on some of the stuff that I'm studying, and I'll get to that as soon as possible. And I'm still going to try and go into one of the shops around here and so show some of the different Japanese food that's around that you just won't see in the States or anywhere else. But I'll get to that as soon as possible. Tomorrow I'm going to go do karaoke. I'll try and do a video. I'm not going to show a video of me singing, and I bet the people that I'm going to go with are not going to want videos of them singing. So I'll just give you a video of the inside probably. But other than that, still doing good. Japan's not wearing on me. It's weird because I'm missing familiar flavors. Yesterday I had a Subway sandwich and it was nice. It wasn't a very good Subway sandwich, but it was just nice having a familiar flavor. And I could see, staying here for a long time, that having that longing for things that I grew up with get a little stronger. And I've only been here almost 2 weeks now, I guess. But I'm still having a blast. Everything is so unique and so much fun. To anyone, I do recommend definitely trying to get out and get out of your comfort zone and trying to do something different. So I think that I'm going to call that for today. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you tomorrow.